In the audio setting. There we go. That should work better now. Just waiting for the comments to come and say, "God, we can't hear you." But anyway, let's put a few greetings on the screen. Bon dia, alegria from Milda Sorian. Good morning to you, Milda. Carlos Costa, bon dia. Stephen Wells, bon dia. Good morning to you, Stephen. Excellent attendance, I have to say. Paul Williams, no sound. I think there is now. And Jared as well. And Sir Lion H. Do let me know. Yeah, gotcha. Says Stephen Wells. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Bon dia from the Silver Coast. De Silva Costa. What is that in Portuguese, Jacqueline? Can you help me out with that? Candice de Mont, Jacqueline there. Neighbour on the Silver Coast now, of course. Greetings from Harrogate, from Paul Richards. Not for long. How long now? What's the countdown for you there, Paul? Barbara, bon dia, Torush from Poland this morning. Mike Campion, bon dia. I've gone deaf. No, it should be all right now, Mike. It's only it's me. It's not you. And I think what's happening is my technology is a little bit slow this morning, not unlike its owner, I have to say. Bon dia from Lisboa, from Weave the Story. Tell us more about yourself, Weave the Story. It's all about talking about our businesses this morning here on Expats Portugal. Very important, of course, to be helping the Portuguese economy to come back to life and put some money in the wallets and purses of the Portuguese. Use those businesses, use the expat businesses that have started up here, get the dollar circulating metaphorically at a local level. Is what I would suggest. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to take you through our business directory, something I haven't done actually, and understandably, memo from Astrid. We need to tell people more about our the wonderful people in our business directory. So I'm going to be doing that today, but also in Cockerell's Coop style, which is our version of the Dragon's Den. Do please shout out about a business that you may have in Portugal. And do you know what? You might even want to offer a little bit of a discount. I know I'm saying put money in the purses and the wallets, and then I'm asking for a discount straight away. But how about a little bit of a perk for the Expats Portugal community? So if you've got a business and you would like to make a little bit of a perk for the community here, which is what we do in our business directory, a lot of the people featured there, who I'll tell you about in just a moment, do offer some very good discounts and perks for the Expats Portugal premium members. So that's a good reason to become a member. Before we get started, though, I just wanted, I do like to pose a little bit of a question to you. So it's one of the best bits of the show in a way, isn't it? Just asking a kind of random question. And it doesn't have to be me. You can ask random questions as well, obviously. The big day for that is Wednesday. Tomorrow it'll be Ask Anything About Portugal. But how about sometimes we ask anything about life? Why is it that men have nipples? That sort of thing. Let's not do that one today. Let's not open that can of worms. But I am thinking, what are you grateful for? Because every now and then, isn't it good to set our worries and anxieties aside? To worry is only human, isn't it? But how about giving gratitude and thanks? And I was standing in a shower this morning, not as a sight you might wish to savor, but I was just so grateful for the shower. I suddenly became very grateful for the shower, thinking this is amazing technology. I can just turn this, I can open the faucet, as you North Americans might say, and be blessed, not just with water, but with hot water as well, and a jet of hot, refreshing hot water. And I just thought to myself, I am a lucky person. I am lucky to be able to do that. Not everybody can do that in the world. So tell me, what are you grateful for? It doesn't have to be Portuguese necessarily. It could be anything. But let's give some thanks, shall we? I don't need to keep raking over the coals of the last year, 18 months. But we have had a bit of a difficult time. Our guest yesterday, Tama, was saying that we're in a sort of PTSD situation collectively, and it might help us to connect with what makes us feel good and what we feel thankful for in our lives. So please, yes, already coming in. Look at this, Paul Richards, who will be with us in Portugal in 2 days' time. He tells me health and friends. Oh, and a millionaire could help. Not your wish list, Paul. What you're actually grateful for right now. Imagine you got a few. If you're able to afford to fly to Portugal, you got a few coins in your wallet, haven't you? So then maybe that's I'll put that alongside your health and your friends, health, wealth, and friends. Jacqueline considers herself to be like a GPS. I've reached my final destination. That is beautiful, Jacqueline. Candice de Mont. So yes, you. Do I take from that you're a bit of a spiritual person? And your life is an evolution, and your internal GPS, your intuition, your geographical intuition system, what's that? The GIS, that's what NASA would call it, has helped you get to the Silver Coast and to Portugal, and you are grateful for that. That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. Thank you, Jared, as well, Jared Russell. Grateful to be completely vaccinated and soon ready to be back in Portugal. There you go. Thank you, Jared, for that. Bon dia from Matosinhos for Joel. Got an interesting message for you, Joel, which I'll do on a PM. But we had an amazing man cave on Friday night. We were bearing our souls as fellas, and I think that's part of what the man cave's about. And Joel, you're an absolute star, and there's so much love for you in our community, and I'm grateful for that. I really am grateful for that we have such an amazing group of fellas who bear their souls, who meet up like it's a virtual pub, a global virtual local, and do what blokes do in pubs, which is talk rubbish and drink. But we raised the bar as well. We're not just talking rubbish. We did talk about some amazing things on Friday night, and I think we are supportive to each other, and I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, morning to you, Joel. I'm grateful for the food on my plate, a safe place to sleep, and a good woman by my side. How about that? I feel a song coming on. Gary Austin. That's Alva Azra, the musical. I mean, you could be the greatest showman. He's teared me up, hasn't he? Just saying that. That's beautiful, Gary. Stop it, everyone. Isn't that? It's quite. It's not basic, but it's something that could be overlooked. I suppose we could put it that way. Food on the plate, safe place to sleep, and a good woman by my side. Blessings indeed, Gary. Absolutely beautiful. Colin Richardson, good morning all. Morning to you, Colin. How are you doing? I was greatly blessed when I caught up with all my kids and grandkids at a barbecue on Sunday, celebrating my youngest 30th. Oh, sorry to laugh, but yes, where did that time go? It asks Ian. But it sounds like a life well lived there, and much to be grateful for, and a barbecue to boot last Sunday. So thank you so much, you guys, for starting this gratitude fest this month. I think it's really important. It feels really, really good. Good morning from Pete Wilton Davis, the unofficial ambassador. Wonder how long before he gets official status over there in Castanheira de Pera. And he's the man behind our wonderful opening sequence. We have two very fine opening sequences. The one that you'll have seen if you were in early this morning for Good Morning Portugal, made and produced by Pete. And last night, if you joined us on the gardening Q&A, Gary Austin, the aforementioned Gary Austin, did us a lovely opening sequence for Get Out and Grow as well, our Monday evening Q&A session for a budding and experience for green thumbs and green thumbs, if you see what I mean, on a Monday evening, 6:15, with the Fresh Air team, the Get Out and Grow project. It's really lovely, and again, another lovely community. Very grateful to the lovely folks who turn up and ask questions and answer them as well. And that's how it is in the gardening world. You know some things, you don't know others, and we all help each other out. But good morning, says Pete from Bar Chicot in Castanheira de Pera, where I'm having the best toast de mista and abatonado in town. Remind us, Pete, what is an abatonado? We've got to get that Portuguese coffee list out, dust it down, haven't we? Well, most people have your straightforward little cafe, don't they? But there are so many coffee variants in Portugal. It's about time we had a look at those. The abatonado, I think, is a long black coffee, is it not? But we will find out. We'll find out from that. Joel, I imagine, will chip in soon to answer that question. What is the abatonado? Because people need to know what coffee to order when they get to Portugal. You won't go far wrong if you just say cafe and you get the straightforward espresso shot. But there are versions which we will hear more about, I'm sure, in due course this morning. Milda, similarly grateful to Jared this morning to be completely vaccinated and ready to be back in Portugal soon. Thank you, Milda, for that. We are bearing our what? Let me enunciate that correctly. Our souls. It is difficult to say that. So yes, we are bearing our souls. Thank you for that, Gary. Grateful for a great sense of humour as well, I suspect. Grateful for Good Morning Portugal and the Man Cave, says Stephen Wells. God bless you there, Stephen. Thank you for being grateful for the part of the offering from Expats Portugal here, and me too. I have to second that for sure. I not only present these things and host and produce them, I do get so much out of it as well. I feel a bit, it just feels a bit cheeky really as well, that I get so much value out of it too. Paul Richards, and I was thinking this morning, I never think about whether I feel like doing this in the mornings or not. I just do it. It's just part of my life, and I love to be doing it here for you in the mornings. And I just had that thought as well this morning. I never, we all know how it is, don't we? To feel like going to work or not. It never enters my head. It's just what I do at 9 in the mornings. And I'm blessed is anybody who doesn't think about whether they feel like going to work or not in the mornings. But I guess for some of the listenership here who are retired, that's not even an issue anymore. Paul Richards, the Gratitude Fest continues. This is lovely. Thank you for indulging me with this morning. Having the best woman in the world and being together for nearly 50 years in June, living your life like it's golden there, literally, as Jill Scott says. Wonderful. Is that going to be a celebration in Portugal, Paul? That's wonderful. And yeah, best woman in the world, 50 years celebrated in next month. Fantastic. Weave the Story. They have a YouTube channel and they conduct cooking classes on Airbnb experiences, Portugal and the spice routes. Well, you know what, Weave the Story. If you're in a state of dress, and by that I mean you've got clothes on, I can put the link in. Why don't you jump on? And this applies to anybody. I mean, we haven't got an official guest for the Cockerel's Coop where people pitch their businesses, but I'm going to take a risk and put the link to join me on screen in the comments. If you have got a business and you want to talk about it, if you've got a business you're thinking about and you would like a view on it from the community this morning, why not jump on the screen and tell me about it? But that sounds fabulous. And we will look at our business directory as well. Let me just so you can look at the business directory and ask questions about any of the businesses that are in there. Let me just put that in the comments as well this morning. And we, it gets taken for granted. I take it for granted. There are incredible companies and organizations in there, all of which we have at Expats Portugal, we have a relationship with. And you can too, and get your discounts and perks by being a premium member. Go to expatsportugal.com/business-directory. It is called the yellow business directory, which is the reason for which it's called that escapes me right now. And if Astrid is watching or Jerry, they will tell me, I'm sure. Or we could just make it up, couldn't we, between us this morning? Why is it called the yellow business directory? It's probably because it's blessed with Portuguese sunshine. I have a YouTube channel. Going back to Weave the Story now. I have a YouTube channel. And conduct cooking classes on Airbnb experiences. Okay, so that's the kind of subset of Airbnb, isn't it? Where not only do you go and stay at a wonderful residence of some kind anywhere around the world, you can have an experience there as well. And in this case, with Weave the Story, a storyteller, clearly, the spice routes. That I would love to learn. I'm sure people here this morning would love to hear more about that. So should we start a chant? Spice roots, spice roots, spice roots, and Weave the Story. Maybe hurriedly getting dressed now to get presentable in front of the camera. The other thing you can do is you could ring me and just talk about it down the phone. The number to do that, if you want to do that on WhatsApp, is this number. As well. So that's also in the comments if you want to shout out about your business, or as I say, put it in the Cockerel's Coop. Find out if it's a goer or not. Find out if the Duncan Bannatynes and whoever the other ones are called, Theo. I call him Theo the fetus, a Theo Paphetus, those characters, Deborah Meadens, those characters in this community, I'm sure will give you an opinion on your idea. Like Frank's coconut stall. Can see Frank with a great big knife, chopping up fresh coconuts. And I'm making myself, so often do we make ourselves hungry on this show. I am now making myself thirsty for a fresh coconut. What I wouldn't do for a fresh coconut right now, but just drinking beautiful Portuguese water instead. Bear with me. Now, I don't need to do that this morning, because talking of businesses, and we'll come back to your lovely comments and your lovely things for which you are grateful. Before I do what I was just about to do, I've just seen the phrase "Mère de Lait," which I would also like. Fresh coconut and then a Mère de Lait, or should it be the other way around? No, fruit first. I like Mère de Lait direta at the breakfast, i.e. milk mixed with an espresso. Yes, if you are coming to Portugal and you're worried about having a milky coffee, Mère de Lait means half milk, of course, Mère. So you'll have a kind of frothy-ish. It often won't be too hot. People don't seem to like their coffee boiling hot here in Portugal. And why would you when it's like 40 and 50 degrees? But Mère de Lait can often come a little bit lukewarm. I've grown used to that. But if you're more at the latte or old-fashioned, do you remember the Italian, cafes of if you're a Brit, the Italian cafes that have the steam pipe, and you hear that frightful noise coming from the steam pipe. Before the sophisticated, expensive coffee machines came in, the Italian cafes had them, didn't they? And pre-Gaggia, I think, just the steam pipe there, water out of one. And they clean things with it. What an amazing thing. Imagine they did all sorts of things with the old steam pipe in the Italian cafe. And that would have been used to scorch milk in a jug, in a stainless steel jug, within an inch of its life, screaming milk, then added to an espresso shot in an Italian cafe back in the UK. And do you remember, of course, when that happens, you get the skin of, you get a skin forming on top of it. This doesn't happen in Portugal, as in my experience anyway. You get the milk skin forming, and if you're really unlucky and you're on a date with someone, that volcanic piece of hot milk skin sticks to your top lip, and you have to try and stay cool while you remove it from your lip, and then think, I have to swallow this now. Or is that just me? Did that ever happen to anyone else here? Bon dia a todos, Adrian Caffrey. Good morning to you, Adrian, this morning, who will be joining us at some point soon on the screen, because he is. We struggled the other day, but I think we've got it sorted out now. And weave the story. Seriously, love to hear more about what you do on the screen this morning. If you're up for it, just click on that, and you will pop into the green room. But talking of businesses and business ideas, I want to share this with you now, which would have been the perfect moment for me to take a sip of water. There is a wonderful organisation called, what are they called? They are a startup, nomad. Yes, they host events for nomads in Ericeira, where, of course, our wonderful Colin Ross Jones is from. This man here, you may recognise his face. He's the man who oversees our real estate search service. This is all part of the business directory and the business output of Expats Portugal, and very helpful to you too, quite possibly. Colin Ross Jones, assistance with your home search, overseeing property searches, negotiations, checking contracts, inspections, mortgages, and more. He doesn't do all of those himself, but he makes sure it happens, which is a useful service in Portugal. Colin, of course, lives in Ericeira, and so do, or they at least operate from this place, this organization, Terra Nomad Ericeira, and they've got two videos that I would like to share with you today. One is a businessy one here on Consumer Tuesday. That's why I keep talking about all the business stuff today, and the economy and money. Anything you want to talk about like that is good to go on a Tuesday. But these guys, if you're a trendy nomad, worker, digital nomad, different kinds of nomads are available. This is what they're doing this month. Check this out. There you go, happening this month, May 2021, the Terra Nomad experience there in Ericeira. Now, if we were to give them some advice from a business point of view, we might give them a call to action, mightn't we? I guess that's a teaser video, isn't it? And I've got another one from them, which isn't in any way commercial. It's just a lovely shot of the beach at Ericeira, where Colin lives. And I must share that with you. It's so beautiful and relaxing. I might leave you with that as a parting video today. But how wonderful is that little video of the Ericeira beach there, not far from Lisbon. Great location. But yeah, going back to Terra Nomad there, we do need a call to action, don't you, with marketing and a way of getting in touch. And the only way I know how to get in touch with those guys, and I'll put that in the comments now. Sorry, just punch my phone on its stand there. I use the little holder that you have on your car windscreen, but I stand it on my desk instead to put my phone on, just in case anyone should call. So Terra Nomad is going into the comments now. If that appeals to you, I think these nomad type experiences and this whole digital thing, this digital nomad vibe is something to be looked at for the people who want to continue working and want to explore Portugal as a possible place to live. Had you thought of that? If you're one of those people who wants to come and live in Portugal, you can continue working on your laptop and be taken round by this growing number of companies like the Terra Nomad there, who will take you to some of the most beautiful places in Portugal and lay on experiences like you saw there, music and massage and yoga. I imagine it's all optional. If that's suddenly frightened you out of doing it, you probably don't have to do all of those, and certainly not on the same day or in the same hour. But yes, what a way to discover Portugal on a nomad tour like that. See the places, continue working, continue earning a living, and it's a lifestyle to which one could become accustomed, right? So that's gone in this comments as well. That is Terra Nomad Ericeira, where their regular base is, and I don't know if they're a nomad company that takes you all around Portugal. Now, who was it who does that? Who has a fabulous place? Yes, Mark Gardner, our favourite brewer, Mark Gardner of Pausa Brew. He runs a fantastic, one of my favouritely designed places of accommodation in Portugal, in central Portugal. Absolutely beautiful homestead he's made there, and accommodation. But he's on a trail of digital nomads. I think currently, I don't know if it's connected with the Terra Nomads there. But a great way to look around Portugal is what I'll say about that. Okay, let's go back to your comments and the Gratitude Fest. Anybody want to share what they're grateful for about this in their life this morning? It is good medicine, really, and let's see how it changes our state as well, shall we? As we think about how we entered the Good Morning Portugal show this morning from expatsportugal.com with me, Carl Munson, and how we leave it. Will this show, which I dare to call it, will that have changed your state and conditioned you positively? Let's find out. I'll ask you again, and I'll be helped by that lovely sequence of the Ericeira beach. Let's see, Sir Lion H. Yes, like some air delight. That's where we got to. I'm grateful to be living in Europe, says Mike Campion. Who is in what might be called the political heart of Europe, right, in Maastricht. Having served across some challenging Middle East countries, we really are blessed in many ways here compared to many regions across the globe. Well, ain't that the truth, Mike? Absolutely right, and worth remembering, isn't it, when you look at what's going on in the Middle East at the moment? Absolutely. So grateful to be living in Europe in general, is Mike Campion. Thank you, Mike, for that. Capricorn 12, bon dia from London, Greenwich. It does sound good when you put it like that. Grateful for my beautiful wife, family, wonderful friends in Portugal and the UK. That's wonderful, Capricorn 12, from London, Greenwich of the Meridian. Grateful for beautiful wife, family, wonderful friends in Portugal and the UK. See, it feels good, doesn't it? The brotherhood that is the Man Cave has steadily grown, and it's good to know that we can support each other in different ways. I feel very privileged and proud to be a part of it. Thank you for that, Gary. Here's someone who I felt grateful for over the last 12 months or so. Bon dia, by the beach on Figueira da Foz, can see a pod of whales or something offshore. Now, that is a reason to be cheerful. Will Thompson at Fig da Foz this morning, a remarkable beach resort, seaside resort. A lot of Portuguese people have it as their as their August, basically. I think it's a similar thing to not quite as French as the French when it comes to taking August off, but certainly things go quiet in Portugal in August. So don't try to be. I mean, it's going to be more difficult for you to buy a house, for example, and do all those businessy things that we're talking about today. And yes, a place that the Portuguese go when they're not working in August is Figueira da Foz. I know of families who have a family home there, their seaside resort home, and they will have their 11 months, maybe in central Portugal, maybe in Lisbon, maybe in Porto, and then head to Figueira da Foz for an extended period. Other members of the family will join them. What a civilized way of life that is. And that's where Will is this morning at Figueira da Foz. A vast beach, really beautiful, great town as well. I had a great lunch in the cafe there, just by the museum, actually. Got a great museum at Figueira da Foz as well, up in town. But a pod of whales or something that Will can see offshore there. Hopefully it's not a few containers of stuff that have fallen off a ship. And it is a pod of whales or dolphins or something. Tell us more, Will, if you can make that out in the sea there. But certainly that'd be something to be grateful for. Lol, I'm just getting a simple lol from Weave the Story about whether they're joining me on screen this morning. So far, we shall see. Paul Richards, grateful to Good Morning Portugal. Jimmy Chu has seen something that's attracted his attention. Grateful to the Good Morning Portugal. Big help. The show here in opening a bank account when not in Portugal. Millennium Bank, so helpful. Paul, this is Consumer Tuesday. Consumer Tuesday. Please share the details. I'm sure some people are hearing that comment or reading it and thinking, hold on a minute. He was able to open a Millennium Bank account without being in Portugal. Tell us how. Share, please. And Jacqueline, Umabika. Yeah, very small shot of strong coffee. Makes your hair stand up on it. If you're not used to it, if you're a gold blend drinker from the UK, and coffee habits of the world, and perhaps something not to be entirely proud of coming from the UK, is the instant coffee. Any port in a storm. If you need your coffee, it's better than nothing, isn't it? But when you have tasted European coffee, and before the whole revolution of coffee shops all around the world and the chains, yes, people used to have granules, didn't they? And some people still do. It's a habit that's hard to break for some people. But granulated instant coffee, and some sugar and some milk and some hot water, and that's what many British people, before they'd even actually, I was going to say before they'd even had spaghetti bolognese. No, before they had spaghetti bolognese, they probably weren't even drinking coffee, were they? They probably had a newfangled coffee after their spaghetti bolognese with this spaceman instant coffee after their new Abigail's party style dinner parties featuring instant coffee and Black Forest Gatto and spaghetti bolognese. So yeah, Umabika, that is just a shot. That's the coffee shot. That's the espresso. That many are familiar with. That is a basic unit of coffee in Portugal, is the bica or the cafe. Morning, Carl, from the Expats Portugal channel. That's me talking to myself. Just asked Astrid why the name Yellow, and she said 10,000 subscribers, and she will answer. Oh, I see what she did there. She's not head of sales and marketing for no reason, is she? Very good, Astrid. So where are we at the moment, Jerry? This is brilliant. This is like having a kind of seance, isn't it? Jerry, are you there? Can you tell us how many subscribers we've got already? Can we have an answer on that? That will come back in due course, believe me. So when we get to 10,000 subscribers, it better be a good reason if we're building the tension like that. So we'll find out why it's called the Yellow Business Directory when we hit 10,000 subscribers. And I think we are over 8,500. Thank you to each and every one of you who is a subscriber. You can join our community, of course. I don't like using this phrase. It's very poor grammatically, isn't it? For free. With no charge is how I might say it more appropriately. There is no charge to join the Expats Portugal community as a community member. But of course, you will get many benefits if you become a premium member at €47. Bon dia. Late to the party this morning, says Penny Albertella. Getting ready for my first hairdresser appointment. Are you cutting the hair, or are you having your hair cut or done this morning? And what are you having done? I mean, for fellas, it's a very simple matter. It is for me. Look at this. There ain't much to deal with there. So it is a very simple matter. But the ladies, I'm in there for 3 hours having aluminium foil and purple stuff and goodness knows what. I'm not saying you're having a purple rinse, Penny. Oh, I'm in trouble now. But I mean, what takes 3 or 4 hours in there? Getting ready for my first hairdresser appointment, says Penny, since March last year. And then lunch out, but indoors. Whoop. Where are you going? So what goes on for 3 or 4 hours inside a hairdresser's, Penny? And tell us where you are going for lunch in lovely Devon in the UK. I think where you live, you have a choice of lovely restaurants there, don't you? I was once on holiday in Sri Lanka. Check him out, Globetrotter Austin. And the morning after, the night before, produced. Oh, okay. The mother of all hangovers. On a trip out in Sri Lanka, a long way from home, we were directed to a bloke selling king coconuts in an almost witchcraft-like way. It had gone within minutes. It's the electrolytes, Gary. I don't think there's a transcendental religious experience. Well, there could be. There might be an aspect of that with coconut. Of course, it is a superfood, but I think it's just what's in the coconuts, isn't it? The electrolytes, the salt, the sugar. There's just something really finely balanced for human beings. And is it correct? Is this one of those urban myths that they actually use coconut juice as for this might make me sound like a complete medical ignoramus, but in emergencies, has it not been used as blood transfusion as well, plasma or something like that? I'm a bit embarrassed saying that now because that sounds ridiculous. Anyway, Good Morning Portugal's entertainment cocaine. Ooh, I say, Gary, I don't quite like to see myself as that. Bon dia de Figueira de Foz. Oh, 2 people down on the beach there. Will, if you shout out Sandra, and Sandra, if you shout out Will, you could have a Good Morning Portugal party down on the beach this morning. Grateful for being able to travel around Portugal, meeting people and enjoying the cafe culture. I mean, that is definitely something to be grateful for. That is such an important part of Portuguese life and something so many people, I think, are thankful to be able to do again. Sandra, how lovely is that? Excuse me a minute. Definitely need a coconut. Sean Maguire. Okay, talking about businesses here. Morning, Carl, from Sean Maguire. Luxury Bubble LDA is bouncing along nicely. Sounds very intriguing, Sean. Tell us more. What is Luxury Bubble? Is that the high end? I know you're a wheeler dealer in the property area, and we've showcased your properties on here once or twice before, haven't we? But Luxury Bubble, is that the high end of the market? Or is that something entirely different? Tell us more in the comments, please. And do offer a perk, obviously, to Good Morning Portugal. That would be so great. If anybody wants to give a little bit of a discount or a bulk buy, maybe bulk is better than cutting prices at this particular time in economic history, but a little perk for the Good Morning Portugal people. And I tell you what, I foresee one day, and I think Jerry will like this. He'll be thinking, how are we going to do it? And how much extra work is that going to be? But I think you're going to like this idea, Jerry. I'm thinking, you see that Expats Portugal logo in the corner there? And actually, by the magic of this technology, I can pop that up on the screen as well. Look, top right-hand corner. I'm flashing it on and off there. Expats Portugal. I can see our logo on shop doorways. 10% off here or member discount here. If you flash your Expats Portugal discount card. Try it in a cafe today. See what happens. No, don't do that. It's bad for our brand. Don't do that. But I can see that, can't you? The Expats Portugal logo, with which we're quite familiar, that beautiful green colour, Portuguese green, and getting a discount all around the country. Maybe even in the ferry ports before you've even got on. When you go to the airport, or you're in a ferry port and you're having that cheeky drink before setting off. Drink responsibly. That there is the logo there as you approach the till to pay. And people behind the cash desk might even say, Expats Portugal member, sir? Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. And you pull out your green card, your credit card, or it'll probably just be an app thing, won't it? And just flash that. Discount. Okay, back to your comments. I think how's that? That is my offering to the Cockerel's Coop this morning. Is that a goer? And yes, from Sri Lanka to Goa there. See what I did there. Morning, Cole. Yeah, Luxury Bubble. So tell us more about that, Sean. Grateful for so much today, particularly just for being in my lovely little spot in the Ribatejo area there with family, animals, and wildlife. You're a lucky woman, Fiona. That sounds beautiful. And again, so much to be grateful for there. And Fiona, of course, she's quite modest with her business output. I'm going to give her a little plug, which is also a gardening pun there. She sells seashells. She sells not seashells, but she sells plants basically at Fee-Witched, and that's a nice little play on words as well. Fiona Worrell there, Fee-Witched herbs, and I imagine Fiona will offer a little bit of a discount for Expats Portugal members if you're dropping by in that part of Portugal, and it's a good place to go. Golgão is not far up the road, and you can see the wonderful equestrian capital of Portugal, not far from Fiona, I suspect. And our Ask Our Expats, I was going to call him main man. We have main men and women in the Ask Our Expats team who you can ask for advice on their lifestyle and get a reflection of life in Portugal from people who live here. The Ask Our Expats team, and yes, Thomas Malloy is the big cheese of the Ribatejo Valley. I'll call him that, the Queijo Grande of of the Ribatejo. So both Thomas and Fiona are over that way. Fee-Witched herbs, look out for those, and we'll see what perk Fiona is prepared to offer us this morning. Not going to talk about a business idea, but I do have a set of policies that new businesses should follow. Ian, we're going to have you back on screen soon, as we know, but that I didn't know that was something you could share with us. So a new set of policies that new businesses should follow. Say when. I'm all ears with that one, Ian. Some people don't think I have ears. Some people, when they see me without these headphones, say, "Wow." They kind of stare at me and go, "Ooh, wow. You have got ears." So weird seeing you with ears. Bon dia. Lucky to live in Cornwall and Portugal. Both fabulous places. Yes, the gratitude continues. And I'm grateful for your gratitude. I tell you, this will change our days this morning. Robert Ryan, that is. Lucky to have homes in Cornwall and Portugal. Beautiful. Maureen, bon dia from Texas. Hello. I'm grateful for good health and family. Great things to be grateful for there. Maureen Connolly Martinez over there in Texas. Lovely to hear from you. Carbon neutral. Here we go. Here are the guidelines from Ian. Carbon neutral, socially responsible, scalable. That's a good one. Should add to Portugal's potential and economy. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that, Ian. That will help, won't it? And you would hope that the government will be very supportive and adopt those guidelines too. Perhaps Ian Turner will be hobnobbing it with the high and mighty of Portuguese government with that holy trinity of tick boxes for companies of the future. I suspect there's more, as well as carbon neutral, socially responsible, and scalable. It should be fun as well, right? Will, hope you had a good birthday. Hope you get the angle grinder you want. Let's have a whip round. Yeah, okay, I'm up for that. A crowdfunding, Will, sterling work for the community from Will Thompson. How much is an angle grinder going to cost? And let's all chip in for Will. At least we can do for that fine fellow. And yeah, belated birthday wishes, I'm sure, from everybody here. Hello, everyone from Dona Graça in Anadia this morning. Remarkable lady. Former landlady of ours, Graça Amorim, and a lovely lady to boot, and not a lovely lady to boot. That's a terrible phrase. It's not an instruction. But hello, everyone. Bon dia from Graça, and thank you for the video clip that you sent me this morning. Yes, a fabulous, straight-talking Yorkshire woman by the sound of it on the video you sent me there. My wife and I have just opened a Millennium bank account remotely via the London office, piece of cake. So therein lies a very good tip. From Adrian, and that started with Paul this morning. You can open a Millennium bank account, not being in Portugal, via the London office there. Fantastic. A Millennium bank in London did everything. Zoom meeting, speak to Enrique, the London CEO. He's so helpful. Well, there's a bloke we need to get on the program, right? Enrique, the CEO, the bank. Would he have been called a bank manager back in the day? Now everyone's a CEO now, aren't they? Of their startup. I'm not saying that about you, Enrique, if you're watching. So Millennium Bank in London, you can open an account via them. Excellent intel from Adrian and Paul combined this morning. Grateful for this show, says Jim White. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. You keep me motivated through the D7 process. Yeah, and it is a bit of a marathon, isn't it? You know, you need people standing by the side, throwing water at you, giving you a drink of water. or some sort of energy drink as if your head drops a little bit during the process. But glad to be of assistance and support to you, Jim White. I suspect you're working with Gilles de Pereira. I will get around to showing you the business directory in just a moment. Actually, I need to put it on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. For starters, the yellow business directory. Jerry to come back to me to tell us how many members we've got. And then we can, once we get to 10,000 members, Astrid will reveal all. Actually, no, that could be an awkward promise I've made there on her behalf. She will reveal why it's called the Yellow Business Directory. Okay, when we get to 10,000 members, which is considerable, is it not? Isn't that's an achievement for which I'm sure our team are grateful that we have 10,000 lovely members in our community here at expatsportugal.com. And I'm going to share that with you on the screen in just a moment. There we go. This is it, folks. This is the Expats Portugal Business Directory. We'll come back to your gratefuls, your gratitudes, and your comments, of course, because they are a vital. That's what this show is all about: is you and your comments and your questions. There it is, the Yellow Business Directory. Just going to leave that hanging there for the moment, as you can make your own suggestions and speculations as to why it's called the Yellow Business Directory. But we are seeing a sunny kind of logo graphical idea there, which I suspect is something to do with it. I've said hello on your WhatsApp. I'm live. Oh, excellent. Weave the story. That's really cool. The other thing you can do, actually, if I plug it in, how on WhatsApp you can just make a little voice recording. You could do that, weave the story. But thank you for saying hello there. I'm plugging everything in as we speak. Excellent. Okay, so we've got a couple of things that have come through. That's brilliant. Thank you, Weave the Story, for making my acquaintance there. And the food wine. Okay, I'll put that link in the comments as well. I think a bit shy this morning, Weave the Story. We'll see what we can do to coach and coax you out of that. And I'm going to put that lovely link to your idea. Have you got a perk for Expats Portugal members? I know I'm being very cheeky asking for that, but why not? It's the foodwineexperiences.com. And I'm having trouble cutting and pasting that, but we'll come back to that, or I'll just type it in longhand with that. So there it is on the screen, the business directory. You can add your company there, as you see, and why wouldn't you do that? In the categories that we have here, obviously too difficult to go through each and every one of the businesses here, comprehensive and encyclopedic as it is. But the first you see on there are the Martinhal residences, and I'll be talking to Chitra Stern, who is behind these luxury branded hotel residences in the trendy Park of Nations in Lisbon. That is a great place. And I think if you're able to see it, some people watch this show on a massive, and that's something I need to think about, isn't it? And my appearance, when some people dare to watch this on a massive flat screen telly of 80 inches or something. That's a terrifying thought, frankly. Never watch the man cave in those circumstances. But look, if you can see this photograph of the Martinhal Residences apartments, you are seeing, I think, the cable car just out the window there at the Park of Nations in Lisbon. What a fabulous place to stay. The residences here that combine luxury living and renowned concierge services. If you are of a position in life where you can afford to stay in those, what a great place to stay when visiting Portugal and Lisbon, when you're figuring out whether you want to live here and going through the processes of becoming a resident here. The Martinhal Residences apartments. So yeah, just scrolling through. What I'll do, Winsurance there, who take care of, look, you can always get a laugh at my expense when you see the adverts that come up when I'm doing any web searching live on the show. There I have the Ladybird Classics, the complete audio collection, and the world's worst children. I can explain. I'll go back to the categories though. Accounting services, books and reference, building and renovating, cars and motoring, education, food and wine, insurance, international schools, And do you remember the Chitra Stern, who I just mentioned, who is behind the Martignal residences there, also is behind the international school, the new international school, which is also at the Park of Nations here in Lisbon. Language schools, Mia, of course, in there. Lawyers and legal, medical and dental, migration consulting, where you'll find, of course, Gilles de Pereira of EI. Money exchange and banking, where you'll find Spartan Effects, of course. Moving and shipping, personal concierge, real estate buyers advocates, taxation and fiscal consulting, television and internet, visas, residency and citizenship, and wealth management. Our mate Paul from Fiduciary Wealth Management in there. And I'll just give you a little bit of a visual feast and also an insight into my buying habits as we scroll down there. Spartan Effects, Silver Coast, we have ACS Construction, must get them on the show now that I'm neighbours with them. Fiduciary Wealth Management, A1 Auto Transport, moving your vehicle or household goods around the world. Talking of transport, ACP, Automóvel Club de Portugal, the Sovereign Group, helping on taxation and fiscal consulting as well. Look at this, a really wonderful mix, an eclectic mix, because here we have, and I must get these guys on the show as well. And I'm closer to this vineyard now, an organic winery near Obidos, making a wide variety of dry organic artisan wine since 2005. There's a dream. You know, the movie Honey, I Bought a Zoo. This is in the realm of, Honey, I Bought a Vineyard. 2005, they've been here since then, and they've won many medals for their excellent wines, basically organic wines, Vinhos Biológicos. The many medals, and our customers confirm the quality of our wines, they say. There's Mia Esmires, who helps us learn Portuguese, and then you'll get a perk on that as well. If today's the day you want to start learning Portuguese in earnest, look no further than Mia's online course there, which you'll get a perk on, and in this wonderful business directory of us. Why I've not done this before, I don't know. And Astrid will be saying, yeah, Carl, why you haven't done this before, I don't know either. And she will tell us why it's called the Yellow Directory in due course. We just need to get to 10,000 members this morning. I will, okay, I've said hello on your WhatsApp. I'm new to live calls, so let me know how to go about it. Well, all you need to do is ring that number. Wow, we might be in business here, talking to Weave the Story. Just give me a call on 00. Add me. I've added you back, so that shouldn't be too difficult. 913-590-303 this morning. So yeah, just call me, and I'll unless it's someone else who's ringing me up, delivering a parcel or something like that, who's at the gate. That would be fun to tune into anyway. But just ring that button. I've accepted your details. You can just ring me and tell us about foodwineexperiences.com now, which is not letting me cut and paste. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to stand by for your call and wait for your call, and also look at a few comments now. So, okay, there's the link to your website, foodwineexperiences.com. Okay, so back to Penny. Oh, coming in now. Fantastic. As if by magic. Hello. Good morning to you. Weave the Story.
Oh, good morning to you.
You are through. You're live on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. Thank you for being a sport and doing that. You can tell us more about what it is you do. I'm struggling, I think, to pronounce your name correctly because it's spelt two different ways.
It's Sofian.
Sofian, very good to make your acquaintance this morning. So these lovely Airbnb experiences with stories of of the spice trade and how it relates to Portugal.
Yeah, well, basically, it all started when I was here as a tourist, and I was trying to find the link. Me being an avid historian in that sense, I've been trying to find the link between Malaysia and Singapore and Portugal. So, then there was not much mention about Malacca especially. So I thought, this is interesting. And I walked around the Asian shops and trying to find maybe Portuguese Eurasian food or Portuguese influenced food.
Yeah.
And so it's just not there. So that's how I came up with this idea. I saw this gap and I thought, okay, maybe this could be something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in. I am in already. Yeah. You mentioned, we're talking about Straits food, aren't we there, as it's sometimes known? Yes.
Straits food from Malacca, from Malaysia, and Singapore, and so Indonesia, and some Thai influences too.
I think lots of people will be in on that. And what? So they come to your Airbnb and they eat that sort of food.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they come over to my place, and
yep,
and currently because of the COVID measures, I'm only taking maximum 4 participants.
yep.
And so as things ease later, I'll accept more participants to come over. But for the moment, it's going to be 4, and I'm actually only starting from next week.
Okay,
Yeah, next weekend.
that's
Yeah,
that's a great idea and a lovely idea.
yeah, yeah.
Foodwineexperiences.com is how to find you and book that. So could you
Yes.
take us through how it's going to work? I mean, let's say somebody books up, and they turn up at your place, and what they're going to get, they're going to be told the story of the spices.
Okay, so basically, when you come to my experience, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little story about about the Portuguese, seafaring empire, where they came over to Asia to wanting to find the spice route, wanting to basically cut from the highs, from selling the spices at high prices.
Yeah.
So they found a route to India, and then they realized that India was not really the center of the spice trade; it was Indonesia instead. So then I talk a bit about history about it, and then so talk about how the Portuguese conquered Malacca, and settled with the local women, and introduce the different kinds of food from the New World, and then so how they infuse Portuguese elements into Asian food. And so we are going to cook some Portuguese Eurasian food, which you cannot find in Lisbon or in Portugal. Yeah. So that's the unique thing about it. So these are foods that you cannot find in this country. And the funny thing is that not many Portuguese know about this side of Portuguese history.
No.
And I want to share that.
It sounds so brilliant and historically rich. The idea of those relationships, the Portuguese explorers in the Straits of Malacca, and like we like it here, we're going to stay, and that's colonizing or fraternizing, however whichever way you see it. But what an amazing hybrid to have created and be part of. I mean, is that
Yes.
part of your own ancestry, or just something you became aware of by being in Portugal?
No, interestingly, it's not part of my ancestry, but because of my quest in terms to find that connection between Malacca, the Strait settlement, and Portugal, I did more research. I discovered more, and I did some readings, and then I realized, a lot of dishes is not a lot, but many dishes we have in Southeast Asia are Portuguese influenced, and
Wow.
not many people know about it.
No.
So this is something that's fascinating, like how the Portuguese introduced like meat stock into the Asian dishes, and so like dry curries, and so like especially having leaving your curries overnight and it tastes better the next day.
Oh,
So
yes.
all these kind of cooking concepts that,
Yes.
that the Portuguese introduced into the Southeast Asian, but and we all take it for granted. So that's what I want to share.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, that sounds wonderful. Really, really wonderful. I'm in. Could you give us some examples then of those particular dishes that are Portuguese inspired? And I think you're right. I mean, people don't know about this, do they?
Yeah. So, for example, I'm sure you might know about rendang, the famous Malaysian dish.
Yes.
Well, rendang actually has some Portuguese influence, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Nobody would never notice it. I mean, it actually originates from Sumatra, from Indonesia. But the thing is, when the Portuguese came over, they introduced slow cooking it and adding like the meat, slow cooking meat, and then adding the broth to the spices, and then leaving the food the next day. That makes rendang taste a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, so these are some of the examples, and then they also, the Portuguese Eurasian community, they have this curry dish which they call it the devil's curry, or debal curry in Portuguese Cristão language,
Right.
which is a Creole Portuguese language. And this is something which they develop, and they add spices from Goa. It has some Goan influences, and then some vinegar. So you got that soury, spicy kind of infused flavors. And yeah, so that's something we're going to cook in devil's curry.
Oh, this is amazing. You've really put me onto something here, because my mother is from that part of the world. You know,
Oh, okay.
obviously, I love Portugal, and to feel that, you know, my new country of choice and you know, my ancestry are connected in that way is a beautiful thing to discover this morning. So I really thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
No, please.
one of my favorites is a laksa. Do you make a laksa soup?
I do make laksa, but apparently laksa is not a Portuguese influence.
Oh,
So
okay, all right, never mind.
laksa is a very much of a Chinese influence soup
Yeah.
that the Moluccans actually developed into their own something quite different. So that's the difference. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely like to do laksa, but I think what I'm going to do is the laksa part I'm going to do in another session. I'm in early talks with the hotel, presenting at the hotel.
Yeah.
So there might be an extension of the Portuguese and the spice route, but with Malay food. From Malacca.
Oh, I wish you well. This is such a lovely idea. It really is. And I mean, we can't not talk about Portuguese wine and pairings with the food that we're talking about. So what do you, I mean, I can see that a Vinho Verde might go well as an appetizer and go pretty well as a pairing. What are your favorite pairings of Portuguese wine and the food we're talking about here?
Oh my gosh, Carl, this is something I'm still discovering because there's so much, you know, like the thing is, I lived in Australia for 10 years, and then, you know, having lived there, I'm so used to like your Cab Sav, your Pinot, Merlot, and all this usual,
Yes.
you know, suspects. And then coming to Portugal is like discovering all this new variations. So I'm still trying to find out, still, you know, looking out for that. But I think in general, you know, in terms of like spicy food, Vino Verde and Vino Branco, it works really well.
Yes.
In terms of finding the perfect wine that complements it, that's another story. I'm still discovering that.
Well, what a journey!
Still work in progress.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And you know, it should be work in progress, shouldn't it? It should be an adventure and a journey. I'm seeing also that we're putting on your screen, on our screen here, that you do gift boxes as well. So that you're totally immersed in the world of food experiences, whether it be coming and enjoying it or actually sending out as a gift box here. So well worth checking out foodwineexperiences.com. Sofian, it's been so good to talk to you today.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. I've been following you for quite a while, so I wasn't expecting to be on call today.
Well, we make things like this happen. We make things like this happen. You've got fans in our community here. Somebody, Nubianette, who's over in the States, actually, says, Weave the Story has great videos, beautifully done. So you're a great video maker as well as a great chef by the sound of it. And what is it we can do for you to support you? I mean, obviously, you want people to book up on the course, right?
Yeah, obviously I like people to book up on the course, but I guess this, I don't know, I'm open to all possibilities here, and I can even advertise on the business directory, and then we can do like, you know, private classes and and you know, something that I can involve from Reddit doing. Airbnb experience is something I'm using as a platform to start off with first, and then later on, you know, I can do my own.
All right, superb. You deserve all the support. And do you remember? But a little bit earlier on at the Martignal, we were talking about the residences in the Park of Nations. Stephen Wells says that's not a telescope. That is a telescope, not a cable car. Outside the window, Stephen, of those luxury apartments. But Chitra Stern is a Singaporean. And I'm sure there's a really good alliance between you and her to be had. If I may do a little bit of impromptu networking on the show this morning, all you have to say to all you have to say to a Singaporean is, "Would you like to eat some Straits food?" And there's going to be a meeting, isn't there?
Yeah, that'd be great for sure. I'm open to it.
Well, I wish you all the best, as I'm sure everybody here does. And in some way, somehow, we can't wait to try the food and hear more about the incredible story that you've shared with us this morning that I knew absolutely nothing about, and I'm delighted to find out about. Sofian from Food Experiences, Food Wine Experiences, .com. Have a great day and all the best with your business.
Yeah, thanks, Carl.
That's a pleasure. Take care. Bye for now. There he goes. Sofian of Weave the Story there. I love it when this sort of things happen. on the show this morning. Let's go back to your comments because we need to find out also, as well as the connection between Portugal and Malacca, we need to find out why Penny is in the hairdressers for so long. So let's go back and do that, as well as find out what we're grateful for. Only 1.5 hours for my barn, it says Penny. Colour and long overdue trim. Going to Rockfish. Rockfish is a fantastic. Can you imagine Rockfish Portugal with the seafood here? Rockfish is it Mitch Tonks who's behind the Rockfish brand chain over there in Devon. So that on the harbour there for oysters. You lucky thing today. Birthday tomorrow, so an early treat. And let us wish you a happy birthday in advance. Yes, I think you're allowed to do that. There's some sort of Portuguese thing, isn't there, where you shouldn't wish it. You don't do belated, I think, in Portugal. Help me out on that one with that one, Joel. But we're going to wish you a very happy birthday for tomorrow, Penny. When I used to have hangovers after Benders in Belize, there's his book. That's the title of his autobiography, of course. Benders in Belize. A few coconut juices, and I was right as rain. So there you go. The ultimate hangover cure. We've discovered it this morning. Fresh coconut. So I think Frank's idea is not so funny after all. Got our NIFA Millennium with the help of EI Migrant. Thank you, Jim, for letting us know there. Yeah, of course, Gilda and the team at EI Migration. Penny, purple rinse. Now, that was a proper gaff. All right, there's no need to bring it to everyone's attention, is there, Gary? Unless you enjoy my squirming on screen here. Do you remember the Not the 9 o'clock news American Express sketch with Pamela Stevenson? I used to watch that as a kid, and all I would need to do is see the clip of that, and it would all come flooding back to me, I'm sure. Gary, that was a great show, wasn't it? Wasn't that on after Top of the Pops on a Thursday night? Discount scheme, love it, Carl. Will you please contact the first 5,000 companies? You see, Jerry loves it, especially if I do all that networking. I sent you my business webpage on WhatsApp. He certainly did. What a fantastic conversation with Sufyan this morning. Red alert, Gary's got his whip out. I must have missed an earlier comment, but yes, be afraid. Without your headphones, your head looks so much thinner. That's why they do a double take. How can we donate? This is is this for Will's? This is a diverse show this morning, isn't it? Will's angle grinder. Is that what you're talking about, the donation there? We'll figure something out for Will's angle grinder. Although, it does come over as a bit Mad Max sometimes. And I don't want to see him standing on top of the Freguesia wielding an angle grinder with sparks flying everywhere. So we need some promises from Will, don't we? If we invest in that for him. Of course, I will offer special deals and tea for expat members. There you go. There's our first perk of the day from the community, for the community. Expatsportugal.com. If you go to fees herb sales there, I could do with a tutorial on how to list on the yellow directory, lol, says Fiona. So that's a very kind offer. So special deals and tea at Fiona's homestead there. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Nubiana, for the plug of the videos there from Weave the Story. My business idea, says Jill Davis, is a respite care service for expats. This is a great idea, actually. We have to be aware of every aspect of life, don't we? And this looks like this is covering another base that was maybe a little bit awkward to go into. People living with dementia go back to their first language. Carers therefore have to speak English with an accent they can understand. I currently live in Scotland but can travel. I did a week in Lanzarote last year. I would like to move abroad permanently in the future, so would look to offer my services to enable the family, other carers, time away to do other things. Would there be a demand for this service in Portugal? Into the cockerel's coop with that. Is it a Scottish accent? Because that could go two ways, I've got to say, Jill Davis, isn't it? I mean, can you imagine if you're Scottish and you want to hear a familiar accent and you need that in your older age? Wouldn't it be so reassuring to hear a beautiful Scottish accent? But for somebody, someone, if it was an American, they might not be able to understand what you're saying, Jill. Only kidding. But I think that's a lovely idea, and I think it's got legs in the cockerel's coop here. We need to get your details, because that certainly you should. I would put that in the forum, Jill. If you're not already on there, forgive me if you are. But that is a very lovely personal service there that could be an absolute godsend for some people, couldn't it? A bit of respite care that helps the family, obviously helps the person you're caring for, and with a familiar accent. Great idea. Pop it in the forum and let's talk more about that. Vindaloo or Vindalho is an Indian curry dish based on the Portuguese dish carne de vinha, dalhos. Thank you, Sofian, for that. That's good to know, isn't it? The Portuguese, is there anywhere in which their influence isn't felt? And they don't make a big deal about it either, do they? Incredible. Very exotic spices, of course, says Barbara in Poland. I tried to cook a Polish cabbage recipe yesterday with mustard seeds. Funnily enough, talking about spices in Poland. Bon dia, Carl, from a sunny Crystal Palace from João Mendonça. After days of rain, it feels like summer has arrived. Good for you, João. I'm glad to hear that. I could do something with fashion. Cork leather is very good. Cork and leather or cork leather, is that a thing I'm not familiar with? But a cork leather combo. I think I'd buy some lederhosen made out of cork and leather for a special occasion, Denise, if you're offering such apparel. Good morning, everyone, and happy birthday to... Seriously, though, Denise, yeah, tell us more. Good morning, everyone, and a happy birthday to Penny from Amanda this morning. Hi, Carl, from Andrew Gilchrist. Good morning to you, Andrew. Cheers. Grateful for the community here that helped me get through the lockdown and US insanity. Wow, that's a badge of honor to have helped anyone get through US insanity. I think we should be proud of ourselves. Looking forward to a fun in-person get-together soon and perhaps a group hug someday. Yes, Doreen, bring it on. Very interesting, says Barbara. Alcohol, very interesting alcohol in Portugal, but I can't find it. I'm sorry to hear that, Barbara. The Portuguese people, that's a thing about Portuguese wine. Go to a Portuguese supermarket, it's mainly Portuguese wine. Not very many other wines from around the world. It's kept. I know that I think it's gone up into double digits, the exports of Portuguese wine, but Portuguese people tend to keep it for themselves. That's why it's difficult to find elsewhere, apart from notable brands, like Beirão and Mateus Rosé. I have a great idea for a decent curry restaurant in Lisbon. My local in the UK is award-winning and are keen to invest. Can we get a consortium together to get that off the ground? When you say, I think some people will take issue with that. You say there's not a decent curry restaurant in Lisbon. I find that hard to believe. Probably your particular brand and style there you're thinking of there, Andrew. But I think we could certainly have a consortium there. That would be something a few Cockerell's Coop investors might be up for, creating a great Indian restaurant in Lisbon. Yes, it's officially vegan leather. There you go. That is a very good niche and a growing one, isn't it? Vegan leather, which is cork leather. I'm in. And I'm looking forward to being measured up for my lederhosen as I speak. Beirão is a liqueur indeed. It is I've been switched onto it by Gary, who's here this morning, and it is now a firm part of not family life. No, I don't give it to the kids unless they've got a bit of a cold. Not compared to my local in the UK. Okay, I get it, Andrew. Yes. So yes, that's another great idea to go along. The other ideas this morning that we've been sharing that are really very excellent. Thank you, Jill Davis. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Fee, for your offer. Sophia, obviously, for that incredible introduction to the spices and the historical interaction between Malacca and Portugal. Quite incredible. And to Ian for your tips for running a successful business, and for the Millennium tip-off from Paul and Adrian. Thank you all for your input this morning. Most excellent. And yes, I should say as well, on Thursday, the webinar will be just landed, and it will be the first-hand experiences for those in the honeymoon period of recently arriving in Portugal. So you can quiz them if you're on your way, if you want to be here and you're not here yet and you'd like to talk to people who've just landed. We have a couple of American households and one British one so far booked for a panel discussion. Q&A really, after we've heard their stories. The mics will be open and to ask them questions about their experiences, which I think will be a lot of fun on Thursday. This week, talking of wine as well, of course, I think it's my shout. I'm looking for my bottle of wine that I'm going to be sharing on Thursday. The Ortigal, talking of Grassa, earlier on, Donna Grassa, in the neighboring fields, landscape is the Ortigal vineyard, and I'm tasting the Ortigal Reserva with everybody this Thursday evening. Is there anything I've forgotten? Tomorrow, ask anything about Portugal. Usually a very popular Q&A session on a Wednesday morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show, of which you've been a part. And I'm especially thankful to you for sharing what you're grateful about. Really excellent to have included a random question like that, and you rose to the occasion, which is superb. And I was going to check with you, wasn't I? Do you feel in more positive and better shape, having shared what you're grateful for this morning. I do, and I'm hearing all of your gratitudinous this morning has been a real tonic to me as well. Just quickly on the vegan leather here, you can get wallets, belts, jackets, vests, shoes, bags, etc. It's quite expensive, but it's not. It's quite extensive, but not too cheap. No, it is quite expensive and not too cheap, which is the same thing, really. But that's good to know, isn't it? That there is this vegan leather now, and Portugal is behind it with the cork. So I'm going to check in with you. Are you feeling better this morning, having shared your gratitude on the show? And I've got an extra treat for you. A bonus video of a lovely beach in Ericeira, courtesy of Terra Nomads. Which I'll share with you as a way of saying goodbye this morning. And I look forward to your company tomorrow morning on the Good Morning Portugal show. You've been amazing. Take care. Bye for now. Have a great day. Teja.